year two of the, I guess, halted Coach Graves era right now. The beat marches on 14-18 a season ago, 8-12 in the Valley, lose at the buzzer in St. Louis in the opening round to SIU with 7 months perspective on it. How do you look back at last year?
Honestly, I mean, I think that you look at it, you're disappointed you didn't get out of the first round of the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. You look back and there was a stretch where you didn't win the games that you had some opportunities to do. There were some games late that you didn't pull out at home against Bradley, where he led by 7 late in that one. You think about Belmont in Holman Center not being able to finish that one. But I think 14 wins in this landscape and having to build a whole new team and him getting the job late in the game, I really think that you view it as 14 wins. Yeah, it's not a winning record, but I think you look at it as a success because you look at the offense, and it was one of the top offenses in the Valley. And obviously the defense was a different story. But I think that you saw a lot of positives in the way that Matthew Graves wants to play. And overall, I look back at it, disappointing that you didn't finish the way that you wanted to finish. But I overall, I thought, it was a fun season. And I thought there were a lot of positives to take from it and moving into what is year two.
Graduating 3, lost a handful to the portal, but really most impactfully, I think Samaj Steele, obviously graduating, was a first-team all-conference guy. Jaden Daughtry, who really came on and was really was like, dude, that guy impacts winning toward the end of the year. He moves on to Richmond. You knew you were losing Samaj, but what kind of void will Jaden's departure leave with this program?
Yeah, I mean, I think from a scoring aspect, it leaves a void, and you got to find somebody that is going to, come in and take care of that. Maybe it's not just one guy, maybe it's a couple guys that have to do that. Defensively, I think you could probably say that, Jaden at times left some things to be desired. But offensively, you cannot say enough about the impact he had. And Indiana State was better when he was on the floor offensively. That does hurt. I think that they do have some pieces that I've seen this offseason that I like that are going to do a nice job at filling that void. And like I said, it might not be just one guy; it might be a couple guys that are filling that void to score what Jaden did last year. But again, yeah, it stinks to lose a guy like Samaj who came in and impacted the game like he did. But at the same time, you're 14-18, and there are some things that were left to be desired. But I really like what they got going into this year.
In terms of additions, it's interesting watching the portal shopping, if you will.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get guys that are high pedigree guys that come in. They average 2 points at a big time place. Maybe didn't get a chance, and Coach Graves almost going in a different direction to maybe lower levels, but dudes that have done it and are sort of proven commodities. And I feel like no better commodity than Sterling Young, who comes in as the SWAC player of the year. What have you seen out of Sterling so far, and where's your excitement level with him?
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement level with Sterling. Sterling is a what they would call a certified bucket getter. You think about what Samaj brought last year. He was, again, a certified bucket getter. He's a dude that could go get you a basket when you need to get a basket. And Sterling, in my opinion, brings that same type of pedigree. When you need a basket, he can score for you. He can shoot the basketball. Averaged 17 a game at, Florida A&M last year, SWAC player of the year. I'm very, very excited to see him get out there in a meaningful game in an exhibition facet next Wednesday at Butler. And I'm excited to see this whole team. But Sterling, again, when you need a bucket, Sterling's the guy that can give you that bucket.
A guy that's certainly off most people's radars, unless you are really a college basketball sicko, and that's Ian Scott. I mean, he averaged 18 points a game at Grace College, which is an NAIA school, but he was an All-American first team. I mean, another bucket getter there. What kind of impact do you think he can have at the Division I, making the jump really to the Division I level?
Yeah, to be seen.
Yeah.
Until you see him do it. But Ian's a winner. Like at the end of the day, he is a winner, and he's got a winning mentality, and he is a leader, and he is going to do things. And his passing ability, he's really a good passer. I think you got to see, because he rebounded the ball well at the NAIA level. Now you got to see how that translates, up to the Missouri Valley Conference level. But he is, like I said, a proven winner. He's a guy that knows how to play the game. And, that's probably the one thing about this team that I love so much is they can get on each other. They can, hold each other accountable. And Ian's not afraid to hold his teammates accountable. He's not afraid to hold himself accountable. And I think that is something that really is going to drive this team this year.
A couple of guys coming back that big expectations for. And I think first and foremost, you just look at Camp Wagner, who was a double-digit scorer last year, and really you're shooting the basketball. What sort of leap can you expect from him this year?
Oh, I think you're expecting a big-time leap from Camp. I mean, this was a huge get-back for Matthew Graves to retain him in the portal. He's a guy that, you could command quite a bit of money because of his shooting ability. And, thankfully, Camp and his family saw the value of Camp being able to play, not just, maybe some sparing minutes here and there when you need somebody to, bust a zone if you're playing against a zone. But they really see the value in what Matthew Graves is doing and the opportunity that he has to be, a 25, 30-minute a night game player in a game. So expecting a big leap from Camp. I think you're going to see Camp probably. I would think you'd see Camp probably go from 10 points a game up to 15, 16 points a game. I think that would be a jump that's expected.
And a guy that's just, he's a condominium with feet. Marcus Harding, just such a wide, big body that just had an up and down year last year. And certainly I would think he would be the first to say didn't meet his expectations. But can we bust through the glass ceiling and have him be in a league with a ton of big dudes this year? He is going to be a vital piece in the middle there for Coach Graves.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And I think you got to see Marcus jump up from, 6 points a game. I think he has to double that. I think he needs to double that output. I think he's going to have to step up his rebounding game as well. Marcus coming in, looks to me like he's in the best shape that he's been in his college career. He looks, a little bit lighter on the feet. Marcus, they asked him to be the hub of the offense, and they're going to still ask him to be the hub of the offense. But, coming in year one, there's a lot of things that you have to, play out. And, sometimes you can be uncomfortable in that role. And I think you saw that at the beginning of the year, but I think you also saw him at times during later parts of the year where it's like, okay, yeah, he's really starting to figure it out. With the additions of an Ian Scott, with a Derek Forrest being healthy, I think that maybe you can see, Marcus become more natural, maybe going back down, playing on the low block a little bit more. But he's a kid that can shoot from the outside as well. He can stretch defense. I watched him knock down 3 in a row from the outside, just the other day. So again, I think Marcus is going to probably, have to double his output when it comes to scoring, probably, more than double his output when it comes to rebounding. But I think you do see a jump from Marcus Harding.
Another guy that, showed flashes last year was Bruno Alathan, who broke his thumb over the summer. What's sort of the health update on him, and is he 100% ready to roll now?
Yeah, Bruno's been going. He's healthy. He's been going for a while now. To me, Bruno looks stronger. He looks like he's put on some weight, which was needed. Everything I've seen from Bruno in practice, and he is going to be a big time contributor on this team. And this team needs Bruno. They need Bruno because he just plays the game the right way. He knows how to play the game the right way. They're going to need him to, again, step up his output as well, though.
Schedule. 5 home games. You're going to get 4 on the road, 2 neutrals. You get Louisiana Tech twice and sort of a schedule oddity there, but 2 non-D1s at home. What's the general vibe of the non-conference schedule from your seat?
To me, I think it's better than what it was last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't have the MTE event down in the Bahamas where you had Iona, Arkansas State, and obviously Tarleton State was down there. You do get La Tech twice, and that was an oddity. There are a couple MTEs, and with the way that the Missouri Valley Conference, has the standards that they set for what those MTEs have to do, and your opponents have to be in the net rankings. It just didn't work out to where it was going to be beneficial to go somewhere. So it works out to where we can go to La Tech, we can play La Tech, we can play Alcorn State, get 2 games down there. So good with that. Obviously, going to Cameron Indoor is going to be an experience for these guys, and seeing that will be good. But overall, I think, you got American Athletic Conference. You've got Charlotte. That's a really good road game. You look at Wisconsin, Milwaukee, they're picked to win the Horizon. So, again, another good opportunity there on the road. La Tech comes to Terre Haute. You have a couple non-D1s. But overall, I think the non-conference schedule is better than it was last year. But, we know this, Jeff, and Ryan Peaton said it the other day. Mid-majors are getting squeezed out when it comes to the scheduling. And unfortunately, would you like to play 2 non-D1s? Probably not. But at the same time, you got to be able to find home games. And that just, unfortunately, is few and far between these days.
Conference schedule out of the jump. Home Bradley, at Illinois State, home Belmont, at Northern Iowa, at Drake. We're going to learn a lot about this Sycamore team in the first 2.5 weeks of the season, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely, we are. And I think that's what you want if you're Matthew Graves and this coaching staff. You want to know where your team's at, and you're going to find it throughout the first 5 games. And if you can, somehow come out of that, I think 2-3, 3-2. Obviously 4-1, 5-0 would be great. But again, if you can somehow come out of that around the 500 mark, or maybe a game above 500, I think you feel really good about the first 5 games, and you really have to like where your team's at.
Blue Ribbon yearbook had the Sycamores 11th out of 11th. That felt maybe a little disrespectful. What's your, I don't want to say ceiling, but just in your heart of hearts, where do you think this team kind of lands as we get to St. Louis?
Honestly, I think that top 5 is something they could do. Okay. I really do. Middle of the pack. 6. Honestly, other than really your top 3, I really think that this conference is open, and even we don't know what the top 3 are going to look like. Right. Illinois State has a lot of the expectations. They've got everybody back, and that is a really good basketball team. But we don't know. They've never finished above 500 in the league when it comes to that, and so this is a wide open league. I think I think it's going to be a great test. But I do think Sycamores can finish top 5. But middle of the pack. And the thing with Blue Ribbon, and I respect all they do, but this day and age,
we're just rolling dice. We're just rolling
dice, and it's one of those things because again, we don't know what a Jovan Bugenhout is going to do. We don't know what Sievert Nordheim is going to bring. Maybe Martin Kopanger, a freshman for Indiana State, has a stellar freshman year. We just don't know. It's rolling dice, but I think really anybody can win this league. I think anybody can finish top 5. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how it all plays out.